Welcome to the Fuse Podcast. We're a community of young adults pursuing Jesus. Our heart's simple. Through our real and honest conversations, we hope to help you encounter Jesus in your daily walk. Let's dive in.
Well, welcome back to the Fuse Podcast, guys. We got Jen as always, and we got our pastor, Pastor Izzy.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What's up?
Today, I actually had a conversation, or I have a conversation in mind that I wanted to have with you, and I figured why not just have it on the podcast. I think it would be beneficial to us as well as other leaders.
Yeah.
And I know it's been heavy on your heart recently, discipleship, pouring into leaders, growing leaders. My perspective to the conversation was I wanted some practicals on how I can pour in to people to grow. And I think it could be even beneficial for people that are not leaders, because at the end of the day, when Jesus told us to go out and make disciples. So how can we be and we could go in deeper and everything, but how can we be more efficient at making disciples, pouring into them, growing them, giving them the grace, but knowing when to pull, knowing when to give, and all those things. So, I don't know, that's kind of broad. But I guess if I could kind of shorten it a little bit. I don't know, I was thinking in the Fuse, me and Jen were talking, or I think I was talking with Ariana too, just little things, if I'm not here, if Jen's not here, how do we build people up to lead the Bible study? How do we build people up to lead a prayer room and all those things?
Yeah, that's I think I've learned by trial and error, and by early in my ministry, I was telling some people in the Bible study, or maybe it was church or Bible study probably, you wouldn't have be thankful that you get the 53-year-old Pastor Izzy, because the 29-year-old Pastor Izzy, was still immature and didn't understand that, and had a concept about leadership that I had a chip on my shoulder, that I had to do everything, and I had to be involved in everything, and I had to have my hand in everything, and I had to, and which is not the case. And so your church or your department or your team is only going to grow to your own ability, which isn't, it's not that, it's not going to be that big. And it wasn't until I learned to delegate, to help people, disciple people.
Yeah.
And the thing about discipleship is, think about Jesus and his disciples and the commands that he gave them. Honestly, and I don't know if you ever thought about this, but he could have done a whole lot better job than the knuckleheads he chose to do that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, why?
He chose the lowest.
But he chose, and I mean, let's face it. I mean, you read their stories. He chose these knuckleheads, but he worked with them. And there were times like Peter, I mean, I think it's so funny, and I think I relate to Peter because of that, because I think, one minute, God's telling him, well done, Peter, good job. Peter, you're my rock, man. I'm going to build my church on you. And then the next minute, he's telling Peter, get thee behind me, Satan, and rebuking him, and, little faith and all. I mean, just that one story about, Peter walking on the water and then all of a sudden getting rebuked because he doesn't have the faith. And I think the reason I relate to him a lot is because I feel like I'm like that too, where, man, I get it. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm down. And then, but when you look at others, not everybody's going to be as locked in as you are.
Yeah.
Not right away.
Yeah.
They're not going to understand it. They're not going to understand the vision. They're not going to understand. And there were times where maybe I could do this task better than them. I could do it more efficient. But they're not going to learn if I keep on doing it for them, or if I don't trust them with it. And not to set them up to fail, but if somebody didn't give me a chance to preach, my first sermon was horrible. you know. And my second sermon was horrible, you know. I mean, I'll tell you when my sermons get good, but you know, but it's gonna take practice. It's gonna take,
Yeah.
you know, and so so the advice, you know, that I can give, that, like I said, that I learned firsthand, is you gotta set people up, you know,
Yeah.
to do it.
When it comes to like delegating, where do we draw the line? So I think about it like this. Let's just say like at the Fuse, it's Thursday night Bible study. There's a lot of new believers,
Hmm.
like in the position of allowing someone to lead something or do this. Where do we draw the line between like allowing them to kind of like stumble and fall and find their way, and not letting it get too far to where like it's hurting like the service?
Yeah. Um, you gotta make sure their hearts are right, you know, and that just comes with discernment. Um, yeah, you don't want to take anybody off the street, but early in my ministry, even pre-ministry, there was a desire, but I didn't look the part,
Mm.
and um, and I got passed up a lot, you know, and I used to be very frustrated, um, because other people around me were getting the opportunities and squandering them, and I'm like, oh, I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
like, um, but I think it comes with discernment, um, of who God has placed in your life and why, who has God placed in your ministry and why. Not everybody's going to be equipped and polished, you know, right away,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody's going to be equipped to lead a Bible study, but there might be people that, man, as far as drawing a crowd, as far as social media, as far as, you know, and that's one thing that I've learned, is trying to find where their niches and what they're good at,
Yeah.
and saying, okay, how can we get this person who loves, you know, social media?
Mm-hmm.
How can we get that love for her love or his love for social media, and transform it into a ministry?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I think a lot of it is discernment. A lot of it is, Lord, just guide me and direct me. You know, I don't know. It's a lot of trial and error. It is.
Yeah. That's good.
You know, I'll tell you this. I remember I had a master's commission intern. Jen was in master's commission, and I had an intern for the summer, and he was from a big church, and things just happened. And I was pastoring a small church in a small town, but for him, things just happened. He don't know how it happened. He just, you know, they would have a youth rally, and boom, there'd be hundreds of kids. You know, and I didn't set him up to fail, but his first youth rally that he put together had probably less than 20 kids.
Mm.
And he was sitting in the back of the church, just upset, disappointed, frustrated, confused, and in his feelings.
Mm.
And I went up to him and I was like, and then the coach Izzy and me was just like, okay, are you done? So you have two choices now.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit in the back and you can soak and you can think about what could have been, or what happened, what didn't happen, what you should have done. I said, or you can focus on the 20 kids that came
Yeah.
and lead them into the presence. Show them what it's like to go after God.
Yeah.
You know, so there's lessons. Even there's lessons in our failures.
Yeah.
There's lessons in that. So, so when you do put somebody in charge and they kind of, you know, stink it up, there's a lesson to learn from that.
That's good. feel like one of the things I kind of like, I wouldn't say wrestle with, but it's kind of like something in the back of my head, and I know it's not fully right, but it's just learning how to call people higher, even though like I mess up a lot myself. Like I'm learning to be a leader, being a leader, and like I know I'm not perfect, but I don't want to feel like a hypocrite calling them to be higher when I messed up in those areas myself before and still like present, you know. So I don't know. I don't know why I should.
Like confession.
Confess your sins to one another. You should be healed. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I just feel like that's something that's in the back of my head as a leader, and I don't know. Do you guys relate?
So Jen, we were talking about Master's Commission. You went through Master's Commission.
Yeah.
That first year.
Don't take me back. My first year. Oh my gosh. It was.
What was it about?
Oh, the first year is just. It was never about you. Like it was just servanthood. Like, but we're learning actually. So, but it was just like dying to yourself. Like a lot of dealing with things that you never knew you even had. Like just lying in you, and but it was just like a lot of discipline. Like a lot of discipline. Like we would get there at 5 a.m, pray. It was just like a lot of scheduling, and like our lives are not our own. Like it was just like someone else was just telling us to do things. And is that my answer?
Yeah.
That? Yeah. It was literally just like dying to yourself. That's how I could put it. Like, you know. But I learned to be disciplined, and I learned like true servanthood from that first year.
So I think there's so much to that when it comes to leadership. You guys hear me say this all the time. You can't be a good leader if you're not a good servant. You can't be a good leader if you're not a good follower.
Yeah.
And that's the concept of, and that's why I ask you about Master's Commission. That's the concept of it is, it's almost Mr. Miyagi, Karate Kid type stuff.
Yeah.
Waxing the floor and sanding the floor and, paint the fence and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And in all this time, he's learning something, and that's, and I realized I learned that most of my leadership skills I have learned from serving. Most of the things that have helped me in my role as a leader, my role as a pastor, I learned from serving, from that spot. And so I want to make sure that I developed that within the people that God has entrusted me with. And it's not that, I think maybe on the outside you might see, oh, pastor's trying to get his minions together, and no, it's about servanthood.
Yeah.
It's about teaching anybody that I can be part of their life, that they allow me to be part of their life, to teach them servanthood, not to keep them there. Well, actually, we need to be there because it's servant leadership, and you realize that the higher you get, the more people you serve. There's so many times when in leadership we think that it's about ruling over people, but true servant leadership is about serving people.
Yeah.
And you can't get to that level without truly understanding servanthood.
Yeah.
And serving people. Dying to self.
Yeah.
That's scriptural.
Yeah.
I mean, how can God use you if you don't die to self?
That's really good. That's really good. How do you think we can be better leaders from what you see? Or if you want to if you want to answer that as we or I or individually.
Overall, it may sound like a broken record, but it's about servanthood.
Yeah.
It's about finding a place to serve, even if it's not I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this story. More than likely, the person I'm going to talk about, they don't watch this. Way back when I was an associate pastor, I had some people that were critics of me. And they were so-called, quote-unquote, pillars of the church. And we would have these big events, and then they would pull me aside and they would say, okay, let me tell you what you did wrong. Well, they didn't do anything but sit in the back. I mean, they didn't even engage in worship. They didn't even engage in anything. They didn't help. While other people were like taking vacation time, you know, after jobs and paying somebody to babysit their kids in order for them to be involved in these events and stuff like that. And these people would just take me aside and just hammer me. You shouldn't have done this. You should have done this. You shouldn't have done this. And, you know, and I remember like watching this guy, and there was some trash on the floor in the foyer. And he went looking for our janitor.
Oh my God.
And to give him a piece of his mind, saying, hey,
Yeah, when he could have.
why is there trash on the floor?
Yeah.
When while he was looking, one of our leaders, who was a true servant leader, went down, picked it up, cleaned it up, you know, looked around for other stuff, you know, and it hit me. That's what it's about, you know. Was it his job? No. I mean, on paper, no. But that's what it's about. It's about servanthood. Whether, well, I'm not in charge of that area, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, you got to serve. You know, well, it's not my day to clean. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, you got to serve. And I don't ask anybody to do anything that I'm not willing to do. You know, now, like you were saying, you know, do I have it together? No, not close. I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I'm not gonna. You can learn a lot from people, and what I learned was I'm not gonna be that guy. You know, when I get to that point, I'm not gonna be that guy. When I get to be in charge, I don't want to be that guy where just, you know, hey, there's a piece of paper on the floor. You know, so that's my advice: is find a place to serve, find something. You know, there's always somebody to serve. There's always somebody to, or a place to serve.
That's good. No, do you have any questions?
No, I kind of wanted to go back to what you were saying. Well, what did you ask before?
Just now?
No, earlier, your confession.
Oh, my confession.
It's not a confession, but I forgot what you said.
Oh, I think just sometimes, like, there's just moments where you want to, like, call people higher or
That's what it was.
correct or just lead them. And then,
But you don't.
and it's the truth. One thing I've learned is that, like, even if I don't live it, if I'm a hypocrite, like, if it's the truth, it's still the truth. 1 + 1 = 2. Even if I don't believe it, if I say it, it's still true.
Yeah.
But just like sometimes, I don't know, there's just something in the back of my head where it's like, and I acknowledge that it's wrong, but just, you know, that you want to call someone higher, you want to correct someone, and then you kind of just feel like
You have no say
because like I messed up on that a lot too, you know. I don't have any examples, but I feel like it's just been something little. So
I feel like well, you already said it pretty much, but I think it's always our job. Like I think even if like we are not living like that, like you said, it's like the truth. And so it's always our job to always just like have people live above reproach, the stuff that we talk about. But like even if it doesn't match like our lifestyle and stuff, like I don't know, like what do you think? I feel like it doesn't matter. Like we should always well, actually it does matter. I feel like I don't want it to be like, oh, we're being hypocritical or whatever. But like I think what I'm trying to say is like I wouldn't hold back just because like, oh, maybe I fell like in that area this week, and so I can't call them out. Like, but I would say like just be spirit led. Like if it's something the Lord has like allowed your eyes to see in somebody, and He called you to correct, like I would still like follow through with the Lord.
I guess.
You know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
Or how about this? How about I understand what you're saying.
yeah,
But if that was a cactus and I touched it and I pricked myself, would I say, and Jen was gonna go for it and touch it also, and I'd say, you know what, I have no right to tell her because I touched it too.
That's good.
yeah,
That's good. Yeah. I touched it too, so I have no right to tell her
That's
not
good.
to touch it. No, of course not, right?
You're
like,
tell
no,
them, you
don't
warn
touch
them,
that, man. I know.
Yeah, you warn them.
That
Yeah,
stuff.
like
That's
know?
good.
yeah.
So
That's what
a
kind of
good
wanted to say is just like, like, you follow through, you tell them, you don't hold off just because you feel like, oh no, I still struggle with that, or you know,
Or
just
I
like,
failed.
yeah, or
I
I failed in
this
that.
week.
Like I have no right to tell them, like, dude, we're always called to like. That's why we're around each other, like.
And I think that's the iron sharpening iron.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so when you have that community,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, don't go down that road. I know,
Yeah.
from experience, don't go down that. Let's keep each other accountable, man. Don't let's not do that.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. It's really good. I think there was like, if I'm trying to think of like an example.
Yeah. But I get you because I used to struggle with that too. Like think like, oh, I have no right to tell them because of like, oh, I still, but it's like,
Yeah.
the truth is the truth.
I think it was. I think like just an example. I mean, you guys get the point. But example was like maybe language and everything. I don't like cuss anymore.
Yeah.
But like I think the Lord had cleaned up my speech a lot more, even if it's not necessarily a bad word. Just using words that aren't like beneficial, and then like maybe just feeling like, I mean, if someone says the F word in church, of course I'm gonna like challenge that. But if just certain words and stuff like challenging someone, and then I'm like, dang, I wasn't the perfect one on this too, but that was a good example. So
that was a
good.
perfect example.
good.
That was, it was a really good example.
That's good. Really, the last thing I wanted to like touch on was, so I've seen like in my life, my perspective of being a disciple and then being someone that preaches His word, the shift of my prioritization. So let's say a year and a half ago, when the fuse, has it been a year and a half? Oh,
It has.
yeah, it has. I think it's almost about to hit 2 years next February, March. Year and a half ago when the fuse first starting, I wasn't like all in like I am now. Like being above reproach, struggling with sin, even outside of those things of just like my career, I was still like, oh, I want this, and that, instead of, Lord, what's your will for my life? Now I'm on this side of, okay, it's no longer about what I desire, but what's your will for my life. I'm here, and while trying to call others up, I noticed that maybe they're not there. So I guess it's kind of falls into what we were talking about, but just a little bit more specific. If someone desires to be a leader, yet their perspective of what they want for their life in the future is kind of like different, not sinful, but just different from what a leader is called to. Like, how do you, like, I'm not saying force them in this box, but how do you like kind of build them up? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. The question?
We've had our conversations, and I didn't say, oh, Jeremiah, you don't get it, forget you, man, you're fired. Why? You know why? It's because I was right there. I didn't understand things. And so I saw that what I saw in you, I lived through. And we talked about that this morning, that God knows us, and yet he still chose us. You know, God knew me, and yet he still chose me. And he, even though, and so I put it to myself, even though God knew my quirks, even though he knew my rebellion, even though he knew my sinful ways, he still chose me. He still worked with me. He put people in my life to correct me, to build me up, to encourage me. I get to be on that other side now. Not that I've arrived, but I get to be the Barnabas,
That's good.
you know, to the Paul, and say, okay, you know, hey, you're rough around the edges, but if God says you're worth saving, then who am I to disagree?
That's good.
You know, and so when you see people go astray, you know, or maybe not do it the way you should, or have the commitment that you have or you expect them to have, you don't. I'm not telling you to give them a pass, but when you talk to them, when you address it, you do it with love and grace, because, like I said, if God has set them apart, if God has chosen them, you know,
That's good.
right? I don't know. I mean, that's my view on it. I wasn't like that before. I'll tell you, I wasn't like that before, and that's why I had small churches. That's why I was burnt out. That's why my first few churches I left, because I, especially my first church, because I burnt out. I was doing so much, and when I look back, and I was doing so much, and I was blaming everybody else because nobody was doing anything. But the reality was, I didn't let them do anything.
That's good.
So, you know, hindsight, I caused my own burnout because of my own immaturity. You know.
That's really good. I heard someone say one time, I think you probably said the same thing around the lines of, if you can get like a couple people to do 70% like quality work, it's better than just you doing 100% quality of work.
Yeah.
Which is good, which I'm still learning. Oh.
You know,
Lord help me.
I mean, you think about my wife and I, we sit back sometimes and we just watch this church move. And we just look at each other like, man, and usually one of us will tell the other, you remember when that was just, this was just our dream, man. This was, this was, and every now and then we'll complain, be like, oh man, you know, this church, and not in a bad way, just like, man, we don't get a break. I mean, there's just so much going on, so much happening, but the reality is we're not driving it.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to be there.
Yeah.
You know, we get to sit there and just watch the young adults. We watch the youth, we watch the kids, watch, you know, the men, the women drive these ministries, and we're just there to advise. We're there to, you know, and the reason that happened is because we learned a lesson of,
Letting go.
it's not mine.
That's
Yeah.
good. It's the Lord's.
That's good. That's what I was gonna say. But when I think of leadership as a whole, like I don't ever think of it as like building leaders like for a specific thing. But I just think of like people rising up because they said yes to the Lord. Like you're a leader, you know. Like, and there's a bigger picture of where we're headed, and like it's not just for ministry, but like even when I come to the Fuse, like I know that it's just a vehicle, and there's lives and there's souls, and that's what I feel called to. I feel called to like the people because they are the nation, they are the church, and they are like that's who God uses like to do His work in the earth. And so like I always just for me, I just like when I come to these things or when I'm like a part of anything, I always just like I want them to just see the Lord. Like I want to call them to the Lord and for them to just see Him. And because from that place, like beyond the ministry, like wherever they are, like you should live in a certain manner because we are not. This is not everything. Like we are from the kingdom, and so it's just like remember who you represent. You know, like remember why you're here. Like and remember who's coming back. You know, and so it's just like letting everybody see, like, or just like telling them about Jesus. So it's just like more so
discipleship.
Yeah, just discipleship. Like
Building
I want
that
people,
person like towards Jesus,
not
instead of
just for the fuse,
ministry.
not just for the fuse or for the ministry. But I love it, and God's using it. He's on. You know, I love that He's here in our house. Like He's here, but it's more so like I want them to like live with Him. I don't want it just to be on for like events or like I don't want them to just fast because there's an event or like choose Jesus and be in their prayer closets because there's something coming up. Like I want them to live that way and just like it be a lifestyle because we are kingdom ambassadors. Like we're here, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I think about all that, it's just more so like that's what my heart is. It's like I hunger and thirst for that. I just want everybody to have that as well. And just to live with Him, like, because He's so worthy of all of our lives as we're here. Like every minute, like should be like, Lord, what do you want to do? Like, because we're dead to ourselves, right? We said that. I mean, like once we became alive to Christ, like it was like no longer I who lives, but Christ who lives within us. And so it's all about you, God. Like, so as I wake up, like, Lord, what do you want to do through me? And, but yeah, we do have our struggles. There's temptation, like all these things. But I feel like when you're so focused and set and filled with the Lord, like, I just want to live a life where I just want to like in the spiritual realm, like how do I look like, Lord, that I would be overflowing, like as I'm walking around, I'm dripping you, that people behind me, as they walk behind me, they don't know you, but that they would sense you because I'm filled with you, you know, that I would always outpour in the spiritual realm. Like
You got that drip. Huh?
hey, something like I don't know. I sometimes I think too much. You guys are annoying. Oh my gosh. But like, that's it's never like when I think about leadership, I'm not trying to build like a leadership team, but it's more so like, hey, you are a leader. Like God has called us. And you know, before we were praying before this, I was just reading Matthew 20. Let me read a little bit of it, but it's just Matthew 20. I feel like everyone those who read the Bible know this.
Ooh,
but
shots fired.
Boom, boom, boom. But,
Why should you look at Chris? Oh,
no, I did not.
I'm just kidding.
Actually, I'd rather read it in here because I already had it in here.
Dang, the phone over the Bible? No, I'm just kidding.
Because I already have it highlighted. Let's see.
ChatGPT.
I don't even use that. I don't know how to use it.
I'll show you later. I'll show you after.
I downloaded the app before, but I didn't know how to use it, honestly.
That's funny. I actually used ChatGPT today.
Damn, we're going to have to look for it. You guys keep talking about it.
Oh, but going to what you're saying.
Yeah.
We've had that conversation. I remember this, that I was telling you, there's more to your ministry than the fuse. At one point, you're going to outgrow the fuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. And you're gonna pass it to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's healthy.
Not this way,
and that's good.
You looked over here. I said, no.
You're gonna pass it to somebody else.
Lord, highlight
But that's healthy, you know.
Yeah.
And so you're right. It's not building leaders.
Yeah.
It's discipling.
Yeah.
And
for life.
And for life. And so and leadership will come
Yeah.
with that maturity.
Absolutely.
You know, and so that I think that's what you were talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good.
I don't even want. I mean, just Matthew 20. Just read it, guys.
Matthew 20.
Yeah, it's really
Read
good.
your
It just
Bible.
talks about all that. Like,
No, that's
serving and
really
all
good.
that.
Leadership is a deep
It is.
like topic, but it's so good. I've learned. I think we were talking about this when I was talking with you and Anna, that one Thursday in the sanctuary, of how like I've learned so much being under you guys and like a local authority than I was before, like leadership. And it's hard, it's rough, it's down and dirty, but it's like that's where like I've learned about leadership, but it's helped me in my walk as a believer,
Mm-hmm.
where I've been able to apply, oh, I went through this and
Yeah.
this is what the Lord did, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I've kind of alluded to, but in our walk, in our discipleship,
Mm-hmm.
I think a healthy discipleship, a healthy walk with God, a healthy leadership, mentorship is this: every person should have a Timothy and a Barnabas. So if we look at the relationship between Barnabas, Paul, and Timothy, Barnabas poured into Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Barnabas kept Paul accountable. Barnabas, you know, walked with Paul through the good and the bad and the ugly, and Paul got Timothy
That's good.
and poured into him,
Yeah.
and did the exact same thing in his own way, and moved him and guided him. It was different. He didn't make him a Paul Jr. He didn't make him the same cookie cutter thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lesson that we learn from Scripture, is that everybody should have a Barnabas that's pouring into them,
That's
and
good.
we should have a Timothy that we're pouring into.
Yeah.
That's healthy.
Yeah.
If you don't have a Barnabas, get a Barnabas. You don't have a Timothy, get a Timothy, and you don't have to handpick them. Honestly, I think it just comes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean,
That's true.
you've had a few people ask for you to disciple them recently. I haven't had any. Oh, just kidding. I need a Timothy. No, just kidding. No,
in
I
order
feel like
to
the Lord's working on me. Lord's
He's
working on me.
now-
He's working on me.
Application.
I am the Timothy. No.
to get discipled by Jeremiah, call 1-800.
This
1-800
number on the screen.
discipleship. No.
Call that number on this. Act now.
Now it's great.
That's hilarious. That's good. I like this. Short, sweet. This was kind of a little bit more. I felt like this was personal for me. Like I said, this was a conversation I wanted to have with you. So I hope that if there's leaders watching, listening, they would have received. And if you're not in a leadership position, you're still a disciple and you're still called to make disciples. So I hope people would have received from this. But this was good.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to share anything else or no? Close out.
Good.
Would you mind praying us out?
Yeah. Dear Lord, we just thank you for this time. We thank you that we're able to just learn more about you.
Yes.
Lord, you've called us for such a time as this. You called us to be the head, not the tail.
Yeah.
You set us apart for a purpose and a reason. We are called on purpose and for a purpose.
Yes.
And so I pray right now that if anyone here, anyone listening, watching, Lord, they're struggling with anything that we talked about, I pray that you would speak to them, that you would guide them and direct them. Lord, I pray that you would raise up these young people
Yes, God.
into the positions that you want them to be. Thank you for this time, and I pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.